Guys, ChaseWins.com coming to you for a new week, the week of the 23rd of November. It is the 23rd of November. It is Monday early morning, and I will get this video up sometime later today, and I'm going to do another video sometime tonight. And I'm going to give you some underdog plays that I've already zoned in on. First one, actually, we're going to do is the NFL. And I'm looking at another dog play for Friday college football that right now I like. I'm just looking at some player reports, just seeing, because each team now, one of the things that you really have to focus on isn't necessarily an injury list like it is most years, where you look to see what's tricky some weeks about wanting to release a play early in the week is seeing what happens in college football for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because a lot of teams won't practice, full on practice on a Thursday. They'll practice, or excuse me, on a Friday. They'll go out. They'll take Monday off usually, and then if they do work, it'll just be in the film room, team meetings, stuff like that, in the weight room, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, light practice on Thursday, light practice on Friday, game Saturday. Well, now you're not just looking at an injury report where when you go into Thursday, you can say, okay, whoever's healthy now should be who's taking the field. Because each day, the list of people that are not going to play because of the virus list, because somebody could have tested positive, somebody's aunt. And they say, well, yeah, I saw my aunt the other week at the grocery store. And even though I didn't come within 200 feet of her, we waved at each other. That's now considered contact tracing. And now every person that person has ever known since they were born is now, it's ridiculous. There have been multiple Power 5 teams be without between 20 and 30 scholarship athletes in their previous games. Minnesota on Friday night was without 26 scholarship athletes. 26. Georgia on Saturday was without 29, I believe. So you got to think, these big universities, they get 70, 71, 72 scholarships that they can give out for a football team. And to essentially have a quarter of those guys, or upwards of half, be out because they once knew somebody that now has COVID, it's insane, but it's ever changing. This college football year has been the most difficult that I've ever had to go through. And that's not to say anything. We've made great money this year. We've won consistently. Only having truly one, bad college football Saturday. We've had a couple that were basically split outs where we've lost some juice, but only one really bad one. And with everything that's gone on this year, that's saying a lot, because it has not been easy. It's ever changing. You look at a game on a Wednesday and you love it and you're ready to play it right then, and you've got to spend 3 more hours, an hour a day until the day leading up to the game before you can pull the trigger on it, because inevitably something about that matchup will change, and you have to make sure that it doesn't affect where your numbers are at. So, but luckily, with this week, there being a short week for a lot of schools, and this being Thanksgiving week, I don't think there'll be near as much prep time as most people think. I mean, teams are already not getting near the preparation because of the COVID guidelines or requirements or whatever things that they have to follow, are already not getting the typical preparation that they would in a normal year. Now, being that you're throwing in a holiday week, a short week for a lot of teams that are going to play on Thursday or Friday or early Saturday, there's just not going to be as much as you think, and I think we can capitalize on that. So there is one game in particular that I've already locked in, and I'm going to go ahead and give you two tonight. I'm going to give you the underdog that I've locked in for the NFL, one favorite that I like for college football, and then I am going to, throughout the day, as I start breaking down Wednesday's college basketball card, yes, I said it, college basketball, I'm going to keep looking at one underdog play that I like in college football, and if come tonight nothing has changed and everything goes the way I want it to, I'll do a video tonight and release it sometime tomorrow, giving you an underdog play for Friday college football. So let's go over what we have for this week. Again, two big things. It's Thanksgiving week, so make sure that, go out there and be with your family. If you're in a city where they're telling you not to have Thanksgiving, tell them to kiss your ass. So, number one, we have a lot to be thankful for, even though it's been a crazy year. And then it is the start of college basketball. Tonight we have Monday Night Football. We are not going to play anything for Monday Night Football. I just don't see a ton of value in this game. I think the line is very accurate. As far as the total and the side go, Tampa Bay's laying 4. I think the total's 47.5, 48. The total could go one of two ways. I lean over, and that's only because we know Tom Brady's going to score. And truth be told, with the way that the defense played against Carolina for Tampa Bay, I think they're due for a little bit of regression. But again, that's not saying anything, because if both defenses come out and play the way that we know they can, this game won't get above 30 points. So again, I think it's accurate. I don't see value in it. I think the line's accurate with Tampa Bay laying 4. I did the numbers. I've got them laying 3. But again, that 1 point, there's not enough value either way. The money line's too high to take Tampa Bay. I see some value on the Rams just because Tom Brady did so good against Carolina, but he was threading that needle. He was making passes that were scary at times, like, hey, what are you doing? You're really taking big risk. And he was so consistent and on point with it that if he does it again, it's a different defensive beast when you're talking about the Panthers and the Rams. And the Rams will be the one to exploit that, even though it is Tom Brady. So I'm going to lay off that. There won't be any place for Tuesday because there's nothing going on. But Wednesday, we start off what's probably going to be the biggest week we've had since sports have returned. That's because we have college basketball all day long on Wednesday. There's college basketball on Thursday, on Friday. You have football all Thanksgiving Day. You have it on Friday all day. And then you've got your normal weekends, a full slate of NFL Sunday and a big slate of college football Saturday. So if you're not on a package right now, now is the time to get on it. Now, you may not see this video until the late night hours of tonight or even early tomorrow morning. Go ahead and purchase. If you're going to get a week, get a week. I won't count Tuesday as one of your days. So if you buy a 7-day pass, I will give you the 8th day because you won't get anything day 1. If you buy a 3-day, I'll give you that 4th day. That way it won't count as one of your days because there won't be anything for Tuesday. Now, come Wednesday, that doesn't mean you can buy it and get an extra day. I'm telling you to buy early because college basketball starts at noon on Wednesday. Now, there's not a lot of lines out there. They'll come out later today, and I don't know what noon games we will or won't play or if there will be. But what you don't want to do is have me release games on Wednesday morning, and then you realize that you're behind the 8 ball and you're missing out on early games. Because who knows, that could be where the majority of our action is on Wednesday. And we will be playing college basketball. So make sure that you jump on now. Again, by Tuesday. Tuesday won't count as one of your days, no matter what you purchase. This is Thanksgiving week, so we always like to do some sort of give back. Now, myself and my business partner, we own a charity foundation. It's a youth sports foundation called We Are Sports. A lot of you know what that is. We donate money and help raise money for youth sports in underprivileged and underserved communities, that otherwise wouldn't be able, a lot of times they work off of grants or donations and stuff, and they financially can't keep up. So we make sure that we keep youth sports a big part of these communities that really need it the most. And not only do they need it on any given year because of COVID and not being able to play their normal seasons and get their normal sponsorships and donations and grants have come to a halt. There are so many of these youth sports leagues and organizations throughout the country in so many cities that are going to fold. They're going to be no more without help from people like us. So we are going to, everything that you spend this week is going to go towards that. Now, we are targeting a few different youth sports organizations. If you live in a city where you have something that you know about that you can bring to our attention, please do. Send me an email, reach out on Twitter, because, again, we don't know about everybody and we want to try to help. The other things that we're going to be doing is we're going to split it a few different ways. We're going to be raising money for the Children's Hospital of Phoenix, which do a lot of great things. The Diamondbacks, the Phoenix Suns, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Arizona Coyotes are all doing big things with the Children's Hospital. So we're going to get involved in that and help raise some money for a really good cause there. And then just because of COVID, because so many cities have been on such strict lockdowns where so many people have been laid off, lost their jobs completely, can't pay for food or utilities. We are going to, help do some stuff with some food banks in those areas, cities like LA, Chicago, Detroit, ones that have been under really, really strict lockdown where people just can't go to work. Food banks, shelters, helping people just pay for necessities. So what you can do to get involved, if you're already a member at the site and you already have a package and you just want to donate, every penny, even if you think, oh, it's $20, it doesn't matter. Trust me, it matters. It goes a lot farther than you think. Reach out to me, chase@chasewins.com, or on Twitter @PicksChase. I will give you the donation link where you can donate, $5 if you want to, or you can donate 5 million if you want to. It doesn't matter. It will all go to a great cause. And then also, if you are looking to purchase a package, you can go to the website directly. You can purchase it. Or if you say, hey, I want to donate money, but in return get a package, we will be doing that. Like I said, reach out to me before you do it. That way I can say, okay, you want to buy a month pass? That's fine. We're going to use your month donate. You're going to use that money that you pay and turn it into a donation on your behalf to our foundation. So just before you make the purchase, reach out to me, chase@chasewins.com. That way we can get your information. We know some people do not want their money going to charity. And again, it's a personal preference. That's why I say reach out to me prior to, so we know that we have your full consent once you pay. That way, because if you just go through the website and buy something and I don't know I have your consent, I don't want to make a donation on your behalf. So just do that. And like I said, we're going to run that this week. And like I said, even if you just want to donate money to the cause, it'll go to help a lot of people that really, really need it. Like I said, even as rough as 2020 has been, if you're watching this and you're getting to participate in what we do every day, you got a lot to be thankful for, and a lot more than most can say right now. So, and whatever we end up doing, within reason, myself and my partner, we are going to match whatever the overall tally is. So if we raise, 20,000, we want to match it and double it. That way, it just makes all the more difference in the world. So what you will be doing is, if you make a donation of $500, we're going to match it, and the donation on your behalf will actually show 1,000. So that's how it's going to work. But anyway, I've rambled enough. Now, if you are looking for, because every year this week, this is when we do our early bird special for Major League Baseball. This is the only week we do this price where you can get it for less than 50% off. There will not be another time where you can get this price for a Major League Baseball season. We usually do about a 30% discount for New Year's. And then other than that, there are no discounts on Major League Baseball. Everybody knows it's my top sport. Everybody knows we hit 70+% every year. Everybody knows I'm the MLB king. And as soon as MLB's over every year, within a week, I have people asking, what kind of discount can I get if I go ahead and buy now? 6 months ahead of time. Well, this is your chance. Go to the website right now, chasewins.com. Go to the purchase page. You'll see the 2021 MLB season with playoffs included. You'll be the full season pass. You can get that early bird special right now. But like I said, if you don't get it now, come Friday, you will never get that price again. You won't even be able to get it for that price after the season's halfway over. So this is where all of our baseball diehards, the people that follow me every single year, this is always when they purchase. Make sure you take advantage of that. Don't spend more money than you have to when you know you're going to buy it anyway. Don't spend double the money. Anyway, other than that, we'll have some Black Friday stuff going on Friday, but now is the time to jump on. All right, let's get on a couple of free plays. The first one, I'm not going to dig too deep into it. Liberty's laying 37.5 to UMass. Again, I don't like laying lines like this. You don't ever see me doing things like this, but I'm going to lay 37.5 with Liberty. Couple of reasons. Number one, UMass is terrible. I mean, they're a glorified high school team, and they're young at that. I mean, most of their players are fresh out of high school. Liberty coming off of that low scoring upset to NC State, I mean, it was kind of to be expected. Liberty, as good as they are, they're a very good overall team. They play well together as a team. But if you look at where their dominance and their the dynamics of it, they've got two dynamic playmakers that should be playing Power Five ball. One of them is a Power Five transfer. Um, if it wasn't for those guys, we'd be looking at a very well-rounded team that is mediocre at their level. But now you're looking at somebody that's already taken down an ACC school, that are going up there and putting up points that look like they can hang with anybody in the country. The truth of the matter is they just can't. Not consistently. And even though I think that NC State is beyond overrated, they're still a Power 5 program. And when you look at a Power 5 program, as bad as they may be, there's a reason that they are Power 5 programs and others are not. And the recruiting mismatch will always be there, even when a team's up here or if it's way down here. So Liberty just doesn't have that, nor are they a school that's ever going to have it. Just like Coastal Carolina, App State, those schools. I mean, even Cincinnati. Those schools, as good as they can be in certain years and have these these stretches for a few years of greatness, it doesn't matter. When you look at Cincinnati, as good as they've been, people are talking about, could they make it to the college football playoffs, and it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen, but if you walk into the state of Ohio and you just talk about recruiting inside that state, do you really think Cincinnati could even compete with Ohio State? No, they couldn't. And, that's what I'm talking about. Nor could they compete really with anybody in the Midwest. They can't compete with people that are down the road from them in Kentucky. Um, it's just because power programs get the star athletes. What is left over is where the others go. And if those 2 and 3 star talents end up becoming more in college, primarily what happens if they're not at a program that's winning and making a name for themselves as the program they transfer from schools like Cincinnati, from schools like Houston, Memphis, people like that, places like that, to go finish out the latter part of their college career in places like Michigan and Ohio State, and that's just the way that it goes. But this is a complete mismatch. This is like Alabama taking on a Vanderbilt third string. This team, they couldn't hang with FAU, and FAU has no offense anymore. They are a defensive minded team. And I think that was shown the other night with the way that they held UMass to essentially no offense. But the problem is, if that was still a Lane Kiffin team, they'd have won by 50 points without trying. What you have with Liberty is a Hugh Freeze coach that he likes that job. He loves those kids. And I'm telling you what, they bought into him. I bought into him. He's even said, yes, Power Fives are probably going to come calling. That's the dream. There's always that itch. But until this season's over, all I care about is making sure that we win every time we step on the field. We just took a hard-fought loss to NC State. It's time to take the field as if that game was won. We still want to play as if our entire season is on the line, even though essentially your entire season just kind of collapsed on itself because you don't have that unbeaten record anymore. I'm telling you now, the team's going to come out ready. They're going to come out motivated. They're going to come out pissed off. And they're not going to let their foot off the gas. Not at all. And laying 37.5 points is a lot. But if they don't win this game by 40, it would blow my mind. And I'm being honest with that. And this is coming from somebody, I don't lay 30-something points. I personally bet Alabama this past Saturday. But you guys know that I'm not going to release a game that's in the 30s. As confident as I was in Alabama on Saturday and they won 63-3, I expect the same type of game out of Liberty. and I'll lay the 37.5 points gladly. Now on to the underdog in the NFL. I'm going to take Washington, the Washington football team. Fuckers are so bad they don't even have a name for themselves. I'm going to take that team plus 3.5 points over Dallas. Dallas is the typical Thanksgiving Day team. Dallas on most years you would think that this is their day, so on and so forth, and they just don't have it this year. They're depleted. They're the most injury-riddled team out there, and they can't get one foot in front of the other. Now, again, in the National Football League, every squirrel runs a nut. It's the National Football League. Even the worst of teams are better than any college team you're going to find. But what we have here is Dallas just pulled out a pretty impressive win yesterday over Minnesota. Now, Minnesota is nothing to brag about this year. Their defense is way down from years past. Their offense still isn't there. But Minnesota has shown that they can compete. They went into Soldier Field on a Monday night in prime time. They beat one of the best offenses in football on the road. And that's not an easy task to do. But Dallas got the perfect storm with Minnesota. They caught them on a short week after a primetime game against a division rival on the road. And a tough defense at that. They don't think they weren't feeling the effects of that game. So they were coming off of that high. They caught them in the right spot to beat them. And it didn't hurt them that now they have an experienced quarterback that came back in Andy Dalton. Ezekiel Elliott ran for his first 100 yards this season. But again, that's more to show you of how far down Minnesota's defense has come versus the Minnesota defense that we have become accustomed to seeing over the past 5 years. A defensive-minded team first is now a team that can't rely on their defense whatsoever. So I think that you're almost getting the perfect storm with Washington here. Short week again, but what you have is you're almost getting a double short week with Minnesota. They played on Monday night, played on Sunday, now they're playing on Thursday. Washington, on the other hand, hasn't had to play much of anybody. They had to play the Bengals. Yeah, it was somewhat of a hard-fought game while Burrow was still in, but it was both offenses really never got going. Then Alex Smith started to catch his groove a little bit. He started to become more confident. I mean, he's coming back from an injury that almost cost him his life. It most certainly should have cost him his career. The fact that he came back to play is beyond me. But he's doing it. But you notice he's been timid ever since he came back. He started to play more freely the second half of that game. And with a defense that can't rush him and doesn't pose a huge threat to him, he just got in the groove. And I'll tell you this, I think Cincinnati pressures the quarterback much better than Dallas does. And Dallas catching that big emotional win over Minnesota when we thought Dallas may very well not win another game with the way they were playing and how they cannot just get over these injuries. Ezekiel Elliott has maybe earned one game day check since he signed that contract. We don't know what quarterback's going in from week to week. Andy Dalton couldn't do it in Cincinnati. What makes you think he's going to do it in Dallas? Obviously, he's a huge step up from the other two no-names. But they're coming off of that emotional win, going into a Thursday game where I think that Washington is kind of like, what do we have to lose? Alex Smith, what do we have to lose? And Alex Smith that is better than Andy Dalton, bar none. A Washington team that is confident and they believe in each other, and the much better head coach. Ron Rivera is a million times better than that useless fat fuck Mike McCarthy. Getting rid of Jason Garrett for him was maybe the dumbest thing that I've seen in the NFL in a long time. Washington in this spot, even though they're not the better team, they weren't at the start of the season, they won't be at the end of the season, they're catching Dallas in a good spot. And getting 3.5 points is a gift. So take the 3.5 points of Washington. I think they can win this game outright. I think they win it outright unless Alex is making mistakes. If he throws a couple of early interceptions and really shifts the momentum Dallas's way, it could be all she wrote by halftime. But Dallas isn't dangerous enough for that. They're going to rely heavy on Ezekiel Elliott because they know they can't throw the ball. Washington is going to be all over him all game long. And I'll tell you this, Cincinnati is better at getting to the quarterback than Dallas is. So if Alex Smith was able to get comfortable against Cincinnati, you know he'll get comfortable against Dallas. 3.5 points, that is the sweet spot. If you cannot get the 3.5 at your book and you can only get 3, that's fine. Take the 3 points. If you want to sprinkle a little bit on the money line with it, go for it. But your free play based on William Hill numbers and what we just wagered is Washington. I'm going to say the Redskins because that's just what I'm used to saying. Washington plus 3.5 over Dallas Thanksgiving Day, and then the Liberty minus 37.5. I hate the big number. But I'm going to keep an eye out on another game that I'm looking into, and if everything that I find information-wise still leaves me in this position, I will have another underdog for you for some late week college football action going on Friday. Make sure you go jump on a package. I cannot wait to see college basketball tip off on Wednesday. I have been waiting and waiting and waiting. Everybody knows how I love college basketball. My season was cut short last year. As the conference tournaments were getting kicked off, a couple of them were a day or two in. Some had not even started yet, and then sports came to a screeching halt. So I have been chomping at the bit ever since March the 12th to see college basketball back, and I'm ready. Make sure you join me for this college basketball season. I'll see you back tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in for another one.